Sailors and pirates and scalawags we, in the dark Caribbean, on a roiling sea. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. There's 5 in the crew, what are we to do? We've been blinded by a bilge rat, caught by a croc, drowned in the droppings of a seagull flock, stung by the jellyfish hung from a rail, battered by a barnacled humpback whale, stabbed in the groin with a rusty pitchfork, keel-hauled under a Spanish man-o'-war. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. There's only 4 left on this bloody poop deck. We've been obliterated by an obscure oyster cult, mashed by a marrow mortal, quite an insult, electrocuted by an eldritch eel, an ancient elder our souls did steal, livers all black from years of rum. I just found out where scurvy comes from. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. We're down to 3 on this forsaken sea. We've been bitten on the back by a banded sea crate, drawn and quartered by an angry sea wraith, shot in the gut with a cannonball, carried off whole by a carrion crow. Our lungs all filled with wet consumption, shocked by a shoggoth. Now isn't that something? Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. It's just us 2, we are so doomed. We've been gnawed on by a necro swine, pickled in a barrel of bile and brine, garroted by a gorilla crab, smashed so flat by a coral slab, burning under the sun in a gibbet cage, feeling the wrath of a mermaid's rage. Our health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. Now it's just me, it's time to flee. But I've been chomped in half by a fossil shark, chained in the well of eternal dark, stoned to death by a mad Jamaican, got heart disease from too much bacon, swung from a noose which did not slacken, gored by the beak of a love-crazed kraken. My health is low and the danger's high. There's so many ways to die. Well, you could complain that life's not fair, but the angry sea, it just don't care. My health is gone and the end is nigh. In the dark Caribbean, so many ways to die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I was but a wee boy, my father said to me, "Son, for generations we've sailed upon the sea, but danger's out there lurking to send you to the grave. So learn your ABCs, lad, perhaps your life you'll save. Now sea monsters they come in many shapes and sizes. Let's review them all now so there be no surprises. A is for albatross, hung around your neck. B is for bilge rat on a briny shipwreck. C is for Charybdis hiding under a rock. D is for deep ones in the great abyss they stalk. E's for ancient elder who try to steal your soul. F is for fossil shark who try to eat you whole. G is for giant squid with tentacles of steel. H is for hydra with many heads that kill. Some monsters be above ya, some monsters be below, but the monsters that'll get ya are the monsters you should know. I is for infernal pelican who's got a massive beak. J is for jellyfish whose sting will make you weak. K
over us.
Oh, right.
Hardy-ar-ar-ar.
Oh, good evening. There's a picture of my head. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. I'm going to be doing some more storyboards. Charging my phone here. All right. So I took the storyboards from last night and I copied them and actually scanned them into the phone and then brought them into really preview, chopped them up, put them into DaVinci, added some dialogue, used kind of my standard music, and made three shorts, three animatics, and then placed those on a playlist, unlisted playlist, so I could kind of check it out. So what are we going to do tonight? So we got this script here. We're on episode 4, so we're going to do 4, 5, and 6 tonight. Make myself comfortable here. And I will, tomorrow morning I'll scan those and add those to the playlist and kind of see how the episodes move along. All right, so in this episode, this little 30-second short, this is the one that actually moves McQueen further down the path, and he is going to be basically taking the well wall down. All right, so turn the PIP in again. There we go. So let's start with the, okay, so this is 4A, and then, let's get my ruler here. So this will be episode 4, escape from Crab Island. Episode 4. Of the Choose Your Own Path, because Choose Your Own Adventure is copyright of some book company, I think. All right, so get my trash can over here. And there's this right there. And there I am looking up at my TV monitor. Okay, so Escape from Crab Island. And then McQueen runs his hands across the bricks of the walls. Okay, so he's going to have his 3 fingers in his hand. And he's got a cuff. And we'll just maybe draw his nose a little bit. He's got some hair. Again, this would be a little crude, but I don't like that pose. Let's just show his hand. Okay, and then we'll have some bricks here. And let me move this over a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. All right, so then there's this one block that is loose. Here, something to that effect, and we'll do a kind of a close-up on that particular block. And he says, this brick appears to be a little loose. Now, I think he doesn't need to be, we don't need to really see him say that, so we'll just say this brick right there. He pulls on the brick and it leaves a dark space behind it. So, I don't know if this will be a two-hander brick, one-hander brick, a little mortar here. There'll be a dark space behind it. This will be the brick he's taken out with his 3 fingers hands. Okay. There's that. So there's a dark space behind there. This might explain why the well is dry. Alright, so I think we'll bring his face in here. Big bushy eyebrows. And his wig, powdered wig. And he's got his coat on. Okay, he's kind of looking at that block. And he says, this might. Okay, so there's that there. Okay. Okay. Let's move this here. All right. Then, okay, this might explain. Ellipses, here we go. He continues to remove blocks from the wall. Okay, so we'll just kind of show the gap kind of getting bigger. Okay. And it'll be a little dark behind there. Maybe it shows a little bit of a cave corridor there. Okay. And then it says blocks begin to get placed in a neat pile behind McQueen. Okay, so we'll show maybe like the back of him and he's bending over. All right. And okay, so now we've got, all right, not now, okay, so he's bending over, and he's got his hat on, he's supposed to have his hat on too, there's his hat there, picture of his hat. Now he is, blocks begin to get placed in a neat pile behind McQueen. Okay. And then it says he builds a nice pyramid of blocks, which is supposed to show that he's kind of got a little OCD. Like, even though he's escaping from this well, that he's doing it in a very mannerly way. Okay. There's that there. And right there. All right, now let's see over here. It says that a significant exit has been created by removal of the blocks. All right, so this is kind of his pyramid here. All right. So let's see here. Okay, so this one we'll pencil in that in a second. Okay. Okay, so now we are at a significant exit has been created by the removal blocks. Okay, so I think probably in that instance we'll probably do a medium shot. Let's see, he's got his little pants, and he's got his coat. We'll do it from behind. Again, very crude drawings, but the process helps me, number one, test out the mechanism for this choose your own adventure shorts idea, but also kind of refines the story a little bit. So if it, I mean, I have two paths for this story. It's either going to be serial stories where the viewer just watches individual stories and it's a linear timeline, or this choose your own adventures. So gonna kind of gather some input from people, see what direction kind of works, and then kind of go from there. So in essence, do a little market testing. All right, so he's, how am I gonna do? Okay, so this would be here. Maybe this will come up here. It's gonna be kind of jaggedy. He's got his tri-corner on, which I don't usually draw a lot from the back, but maybe it looks something like that. He's got his wig. And he has made a large pile of blocks, and this is going to be kind of darkish. We don't really know what's going to go on in there. Okay, there's that. There it is right there. Then he says, well, perhaps this might be a path out. It's kind of redundant. You're supposed to show and not say. Can you do it with this? I need to set this up here. System preferences. This is desktop and screensaver. Start after, let's set it on 30 minutes there. All right, so it'll quit going to sleep on me. Okay, so there's he's made a significant gap in the wall that he can walk through of the well. Might show like the rope over here that he did not take. And there was a rock down here that he hit. All right, he says, well, perhaps this might be a path out. So we're gonna do pretty much this same shot here. Right there, that one right there. That one there. All right. And try to duplicate that. Okay, he's got his nose, he's got his mouth, his ears, he's got these big bushy blonde eyebrows, he has this wig, he has the tri-corner, there's a tri-corner hat. Alright, and again, I'm not the best artist, but we're just kind of going through and running through this process where you don't need top-notch artists. Now, when I do orthos, I will hire Justin Davis to do orthos. When I need sculpts that are fancy, I'll hire Mark Spence to do sculpts. But for storyboards that are rough, I can do this. Okay. So then he says, well, perhaps this might be path out. Okay, so make a little space here. Well, perhaps. Okay, ellipses. Then I think I want to add a line here that basically shows him exiting. McQueen exits the well through the hole. Okay. All right, so save that. Final draft. Come back over here. All right, so that's what we got so far. And there. Okay. So. And then basically it's going to be the same shot, but he's just walking through it. Okay. And there's this. He's got his boots right there. Just kind of got this here. So I kind of need to show him. It's basically the same angle, but he's actually just walking through it now. So I'm not very good about drawing somebody walking. So shows hands kind of by his side. Okay, so I need to kind of show him a little bit more walking through that. Okay, so this is there's kind of the sand here. Bring that this way. Okay. All right, so he needs to be probably just like maybe halfway through this hole in the well wall. So we'll just kind of show him here at the back of his coat. I could practice drawing a man walking. Okay, here he is. Now he's walking through the well wall. Okay, this will be dark here. Okay, and I'll just draw an arrow. He's walking this way. Bloop. Okay. So okay, there he goes. He's walking through the wall. All right, now there's that right there. Okay, so he is walking through the wall, and then the card at the end says, to continue the adventure, proceed to episode 6. Okay. Card. To continue the adventure, proceed to episode 6. So there's a flow chart to this. I ended up taking this path versus the serial story style. And so the viewer will basically then just go through the playlist. And now on some of these, they'll just have to hit the, like, swipe up, swipe down. Still kind of troubleshooting what the experience is going to be like, because I haven't seen anything that's like this, serial episodes or choose your own adventure style. Okay, so now here's the fun part. We go back to 4th grade and we color in with our limited palette of colored pencils from King Soopers grocery store. Okay, who needs 64 colors? All right, so blue, his coat is blue. So there's his coat. I need to draw a couple of more blocks in here. Okay, the brick, this brick, ellipses. Okay, and then he's got his blue coat here. And he's got his blue coat here. All right, and I made kind of the blocks brown yesterday. This is a focus item, so we'll make it solid. It's kind of what thing I've noticed watching old 50s cartoons is how they kind of differentiated foreground items from items in the background. Okay. There's the stack of brown blocks. He's stacking those brown blocks. And we're just, we're just doing a little Bob Ross here. And I think the other day I gave him some red, little rosy red cheeks. Maybe a little bit of red on his hands to differentiate it from the background. And then I had some yellow sand on the ground when it was sandy times. Also had some little dots for sand. Little dots for sand. This is not rocket science. In fact, this is about 4th grade art. But you know what? 4th grade art is good enough for storyboards of a low budget animated picture. All right, so also here I need to show probably a little bit of that black behind him. Okay, there's that. A little bit of black there, a little bit there, a little bit there. This block needs a little bit more to it. There it is. Okay, he's got some yellow eyebrows. I think his tri-corner hat is black. Okay, so we're done with that first set of panels for episode 4. Do a little bit more here on. Look at that, just like a talented 4th grader. You know, in 3rd grade, I won an art contest. I drew a picture of a campground for old Shawnee days. I have that picture somewhere. I should pull it out, put it in the studio. All right, he's got a blue coat. Got a blue coat. He's got a blue coat. The other day I made the arrow blue. Don't know why. Art is arbitrary. Okay. He's got some ruddy red cheeks. This is all brown. That rope was brown from yesterday. I need to add the rope here. go. I guess I go out of frame. Okay, there's some brown block walls of the well. And some back here too. This will be brown over here. Okay, I think I made his pants orange the other day. Here's that. Here's his, I'll just throw some orange in there. And his tri-corner was black. This is black, yeah. And his tri-corner is black. This will be kind of dark around him. He's heading off into the unknown. Okay, make his silhouette a little bit. Stand out there. This is all kind of sand. It's all kind of sand. Just a little rock here. Some blocks from his pyramid. Okay, that's all yellow. Because sand is always yellow. All right. I think that is sufficiently colored in for the purposes of this low budget animatic. Now, so I will, again, idea here is we are making these storyboards to kind of test out an idea for a kind of choose your own path adventure. And it's pirate themed, pirate board universe from Limithron, Luke Stratton. All right, so now let's go over here. So let's save episode 4 screenplay. And let's pull up the episode 5 screenplay. Oh, this is good. This one's good. So he sees what he thinks is a gem or a jewel on the ground, and it turns out it is the back of a scorpion. So if you're not familiar with Mork Borg and Pirate Borg, these are role-playing games, RPGs, where your character has very low hit points. And so the fun part isn't having your character last for years and years. The fun part's having your character die in an afternoon and maybe playing 2 or 3 characters. And it's just kind of fun. It's something different. And so these guys exist in the Pirate Borg universe, where it's a very dangerous piratey universe. It's called the Dark Caribbean, or Dark Caribbean. And so a lot of these paths that McQueen takes leads to his demise. Poor McQueen. And in this sense, so in the first one, in episode 3, he tried to climb a rope, and in climbing the rope, he ended up falling down, and he hit his head on a, I think I have the storyboard here. All right, so this is the episode 3. See, there we go, right there. So he climbs the rope, he gets going up there, but then we have a shot of the well top here, and there's a little crab on a bucket because it's Crab Island. He's like, oh, I'm making some progress. And then, where's 3B? 3B. All right, so then the bucket starts to get pulled with Mr. Crab there, and then the bucket starts to get pulled through the pulley, and he ends up falling, and his catchphrase is biscuits. And he hits his head. To make matters worse, add insult to injury, the bucket falls on his head with Mr. Crab, and then Mr. Krabby walks away. And it says go back to episode 2. All right, so that's one in which he dies by way of falling and hitting his head. And then in this one, I need a storyboard here, printed out from Superstar Worksheets. Thank you, Superstar Worksheets, for your art. Okay, so the choose your own adventure idea is definitely novel, as shorts like this, from what be sure not to give away all the pathways before you do the animations, though. Well, you know what? For the 4 or 5 people watching us, they can be on the end. All right, so they can be part of the team. Okay, so this is episode 5, and this is 5A. Okay, so McQueen stands at the bottom of a dry well. A shiny black gem sparkles in the sand. Okay, so I'm going to steal one of these other sketches, which is basically him standing at the bottom of a dry well. Okay. In this series, McQueen does a lot of standing around. Okay, here he is. He's wearing his coat. In the sketching capabilities of a 6-year-old child, a talented 6-year-old child, but a 6-year-old child nonetheless. But again, for animatics, for storyboards, especially when it's low budget, we don't need to spend a lot of money on storyboards. So, all right, here he is. He's standing right here. Here's his tri-corner. Okay, and he's standing here in there, and he's got a nose and some eyes, and his hat looks kind of silly. Okay, and there's that right there. Okay, so McQueen stands at the bottom of a dry well. Okay, and then a shiny black gem sparkles in the sand. Okay, I have that from another storyboard. Where is that other one? I think that was from 2. Okay. Be sure not to give away all the pathways before you do the animations. Okay. Where is 2? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, it's this one right here. So I'm going to steal this shot right here. Okay, so a shiny black gem sparkles in the sand. Okay, so we'll sketch this here. He's at the bottom of a dry well. And a lot of these adventures that are individual based, I mean, D&D, you start in the tavern. Individual types of adventures, you kind of have to start somewhere in the timeline. So in this case, he starts at the bottom of a dry well. He mentions previously that Bermuda Bill put him in there. We don't really know the backstory. So he is, he's in essence a spy for the Navy, but he's in a well. So the adventure is, how is he going to get out of this well? And how is he going to get off the Crab Island, the cursed Crab Island? Okay, now a black gem sparkles. Okay, so focus, Matt, focus. All right, so here is this black gem, and it's shiny. So you draw little sparkle lines, and here he is. This is, I'm not, I need to practice working on my gems. Okay. Probably is going to be smaller than that too, because it's supposed to be part of the back of this scorpion that's going to bite him. Okay, so it needs to be maybe a little bit smaller. Okay. All right, there's the gem, and a little shading here, some little sand dots right there. Okay, now he says, "Oh, a shiny bauble." Okay, I'll make this a little bit bigger. There we go. It fills the screen a little bit more. Okay. Oh, a shiny bauble. So we're going to have a close-up of his face. Spent a lot of time a couple years ago drawing faces. but apparently I've lost that skill. Alright. It's just something that even if you have a knack for any kind of individual art, you just gotta practice it. I don't practice drawing a whole lot. I'm a jack of all trades. I do a lot of different things. None of them particularly well. But I do like to tell stories, and I do like making the stop motion animations. All right, so there he is. His hat needs to be a little bit bigger. There we go, right there. Okay, and then he says, ooh, a shiny bauble. Okay, so there is some dialogue here. So, ooh, a shiny bauble. So, and in the animatic, there's some music that I use for all my pirate videos, the little hornpipe, and that'll be behind it. And then I recorded the dialogue for like the first 6 episodes. And basically, you know, the storyboards are rough. This is not a Marvel adventure with a $250 million budget. This is, who knows what the budget of this is going to be. Okay, so he says, ooh, a shiny, ellipses, ... And then he bends down to pick up the jewel. All right, so we'll probably do a medium shot there. Here's the jewel, and picture of guy bending over. Okay, this is going to be a little rough. Okay, there's that. He's in a well. He's got his 3 fingers. He's going to pick up this shiny object. He's got his wig. He has his tri-corner. This is a sketch that would embarrass a 5-year-old, but again, it doesn't matter. Okay, he's picking up the diamond. Okay. There's his tri-corner. He's looking at it. He's got some nose. Okay. Now, all right. You know, he's bending over and picking it up. Okay. So then as he disturbs the sand, a scorpion appears. Okay. So a scorpion. All right. Kind of a rough idea what a scorpion looks like. Let's just I'll just come over here and I will say in my Google search, scorpion drawing. Okay, unfortunately, Robert Duvall passed away today. He was an amazing actor. Scorpion drawing. He was 95. That's a long life. All right. Sometimes I do, instead of drawing, I just say scorpion cartoon, because cartoons kind of boil things down to the nitty gritty. All right, there's a little chibi scorpion. I'll use that as my model. There we go. So there's a little chibi. So that'll show me how to kind of roughly draw a scorpion for the purposes of McQueen getting bit by a scorpion. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, in Pirate Borg, Mork Borg, and these types of adventures, the characters die often. And so if you remember, like from Dragon Lair, that character, he would die quite often as well. So you had to put another quarter in the Laserdisc player if you played it back in the 80s. All right, back to focusing on this. So as he disturbs the sand, a scorpion appears. Okay, so but I want it to be kind of the back. I'm going to show the gem, which is kind of this hexagon shape. And So that's the gem. Now, then this gem is going to kind of be on the back of this scorpion. So he's got this kind of segmented body here. And, okay, the chibi is too happy. We need a scorpion that's not happy. Okay, so why are all these scorpion cartoons happy? All right, apparently it's good times when you're a scorpion cartoon. Okay, that's a good one there. Okay, scorpion hot sauce. Okay, so there's kind of a scorpion cartoon. Okay. So, but I kind of picture him initially kind of going away from, like running away from McQueen. And so I think I guess I need to bring this tail up. Everything in the Dark Caribbean will kill you. So many ways to die. So if you want something interesting, check out my YouTube channel, which you're on the YouTube channel maybe now. But so I won this award. I was honored to win for this 4-minute pirate Borg themed video called "So Many Ways to Die," and it was fun to make. It took 2 months. Built an 8-foot pirate ship in the basement. So if you get a chance, go check it out. It's kind of funny. Stop motion, 4-minute stop motion music video. So many ways to die. All right, and one of the ways to die is getting stabbed by a scorpion that has a black gem on his back. All right, so I need to kind of draw this segmented body coming back. And then he's got this kind of little stinger thing, which, I don't know, looks like a peanut or something, or a coffee bean. Okay. I guess it's like that. So they say the small ones are the more powerful ones, so I guess he's kind of a smaller one. And they are arachnids. They have 8 legs. I'm not a biology guy. I apologize. Okay. So you're not going to get a biology lesson from me. Okay. And he's got this tiny little head. Does he have no antennas? I don't know what a scorpion's head looks like. Okay. What does a scorpion's head look like? All right, let's see some of these other pictures of the scorpions without a smiley face. This one just shows like he's just got a skull with 2 little things coming out. All right, I guess I will learn about scorpions. Okay, there's Mr. Scorpion. All right, so the line is, as he disturbs the sand, a scorpion appears. And this is really just all kind of one line here. The gem is attached to the back of the scorpion. Okay. So usually it's been a while since I've read a lot of formatting books on screenplays, but for my format, I will basically, for each shot is a sentence or, a tiny little paragraph, right? So since this is 2 sentences together in a paragraph, that'll be 1 shot. All right. And okay, so back to this here. Now, so this little guy, Mr. Scorpy McScorpion, and I need to kind of show a little bit of how big he is. So maybe he's this size. He's not the size of a chihuahua. That would be kind of big. That's a big scorpion hiding. Maybe he's the size of like a kitten. Kitten's a little bit smaller than a chihuahua. I don't know. All right, we'll find out about that once this actually gets made. Probably this summer. I have so many other projects. I've got So we've got 6 more Beardy Pirate shorts to shoot, which I'll probably shoot tomorrow. Then we've got Machete Mary, so 10 of her. Then we've got 10 of Sailor Sam. Then I've got, I think, almost 25 dungeon diving videos to shoot. So I've got Sinew and Drek, they're ready to shoot. I've got Granat ready to shoot. And I've got Kreneth ready to shoot. So those 4 are ready to shoot. And then I need to do a puppet. And Jenny needs to do dialogue. And I need to finish Sir Ratone, which I'll probably finish this week. I got a lot done on Sir Ratone. I think it was Sunday night when I was streaming. All right, so back to this. The scorpion. Okay, as he disturbs the sand, a scorpion appears. The gem is attached to the back of the scorpion. Biscuits, that looks spiky. All right, so we're gonna go back to this kind of close-up shot here, and all right, there's that. Okay, so. Kind of draw this. If I was doing the computer, I would just cut and paste, but what's the fun in that? Sometimes, with all this AI stuff, sometimes it's just rewarding to have a 2B pencil in your hand with your favorite steel ruler and your favorite Pentel polymer eraser and your favorite steel pencil sharpener, and just enjoy your evening by making drawings that a 6th grader would appreciate. Okay. I guess we'll make his pupils really big, like, whoa! Our pupils get big when we get excited. And I will not, I guess I'll go a little crazy. They need to be a little bit further down, but he's looking down. He's like, biscuits. His mouth will be open. Actually, these eyebrows. I have a little map that I made of eyebrows, which are kind of funny. So, actually, so if he's mad, they're going down. If he's excited, they're going this way. It's like, what? Okay. And we got the rest of his head here. He's got a chiseled jaw, just like Steve McQueen, my favorite actor. One of my favorite actors. My other favorite actor is Sir Laurence Olivier. And of course, I like the other guys, Harrison Ford, and I always like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. I'm a 70s guy. I like all the 70s guys. Oh, that ended up making his mouth closed. Okay. Oh, all right. There's that. And he needs his little wig here. Okay, so depends on the age of the kitten if they would be smaller than a Chihuahua. Thank you, the Lady of Cats, Miss Jenny Kimball, our technical director. Okay, so he says biscuits, which is his catchphrase. Okay. Then the next shot is the scorpion circles the well bottom with his tail in the air. All right, so gonna kind of maybe have him, I think here I'll have him kind of start to kind of move out of screen. He's got some like sand coming off him. Oh, that's going to be fun to animate. How the heck am I going to do that? All right, sand falling off a scorpion. Well, I'll worry about it when I get to episode 5. Okay. Biscuits. Okay. And then he says, the scorpion circles the well bottom with its tail in the air. Okay, so now I we're going to come back to this kind of shot. He's got that gem on his back, which is sparkly. He's a sparkling black gem scorpion, one of the most feared scorpions in all of the Dark Caribbean. Okay. And he's got his little coffee bean poker here. And he's got his head thing with his little eye stalky things and his legs. And I'll just say he's kind of maybe moving around a little bit. All right, so he's moving around. Can we have a little more light on the drawing? Absolutely, Miss Hannah Kimball. All right, let's see if that worked. I got lights aplenty around here. Okay, and I got this other controller. Let's move this one up a little bit too. There you go. That should help too. Thank you for that, Hannah. All right. So there he is. He says biscuits, and then he's got that little scorpion thing there. All right. Okay, I'm gonna clean up my. Thank you for that, Hannah. That's a good idea. A work in progress. Live streaming episode 23. A work in progress. Okay, now. There we go. So there's what we got so far there for episode 5. Okay, now it says, I what a pickle. Okay, so we're going to go back to this close-up of him. Actually, I think I've already done 2 close-ups. I think I'm going to show a medium shot so you can see like the relationship between I might end up putting this together. So the I would a pickle and the McQueen circles the well as the scorpion nears. Oh, I lost my light. Crazy light. Okay. This light is just crazy. You have to close the app or else it randomly shuts off. Okay, there we go. There's that and that. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is, all right, light, quit blinking. Okay. All right, I think what I'm going to end up doing then is a medium shot of, so we can get some kind of perspective of like how big the scorpion is and what he's doing. So let's make this a pretty good size scorpion. So he's gonna be, let's make him kind of here. He's got his scorpion tail and his gem-shaped body, which is always sparkly, and his little leggies, and his little coffee bean stinger. All right, so he's going to be pretty good size. So maybe he will be the size of a kitten. And McQueen is like, what in the world have I got myself into? Okay. And maybe his hands will be up a little bit. Like, okay, I'm a spy, but I'm not used to dealing with these massive scorpions. Okay, and there's his. He's gonna go, oh. Okay. He's got his hair, his little powdered wig. Okay. There he goes. His arms need to be up here. Okay. So, big scorpion, and he says, I would a pickle. Okay. And then that scorpion, he's going to be kind of rotating a little bit. Okay. How do you plan to show each of the deaths? Will you have a bunch of the same puppets? That's a good question. I mean, the puppet probably won't be destroyed in each of these, but I haven't gotten that far yet in the process. I mean, he's not going to get squished from a puppet perspective. All right, so he says, I what a pickle. I what a ellipses. Okay, so this is that's the first set of that's the first panel of those for that one. Okay. Now we'll grab another storyboard here. And okay, so the next line is okay, so the circle of the well is the scorpion, so I'll show him kind of going back and forth as well. Okay. Oop, go back to here. There we go. So I just drew an arrow right here, kind of showing that he's moving. Okay. All right, and then, okay, so this is panel 5B. Crab 5B. All right, so now it says the scorpion strikes and hits McQueen in the leg. So I think then I'll just do a close-up of McQueen's leg. I need to pull up a picture of him since we're going to do a close-up. All right, where are those guys? They're here, right here, and there is Lieutenant McQueen. So here's this artwork by Justin Davis, right there. So there's a picture of Lieutenant McQueen, and so I need to sketch these at the bottom of his pants. Okay, so he's gonna get stung through his sock. All right, so how close to make this? He's got his little clodhopper shoes here. Okay. And then he's got his kind of showing his calf there. Should take an anatomy class. Okay, there's his calf there. And then I'm looking up at the top there. Jesslyn Dees. Hi, Jesslyn Dees. All right, and then he's got his kind of short pants there, and then the bottom of his coat. Okay, and the line was, Or the scene was Scorpion strikes and hits McQueen in the leg. All right, I think I want to change this here. So I think the Scorpion strikes and hits McQueen. Then he's going to go youch or something to that effect. And then he's going to grab his shin. See, you know, we're massaging this here. Okay, then he grabs his shin and collapses to the ground. Then he says, drat, what a... Has he already said... He already said biscuits. Drat, what a dreadful way to perish. Okay. And then, so... I'll just say McQueen rolls to the ground, or McQueen... he's already on the ground. So McQueen, something he's closes his eyes. Okay, there we go. Save that. Come back over here. All right, so okay, so the Scorpion strikes and hits McQueen's leg. Okay, so how big was that guy? He was pretty big. Okay, so kind of show the little stinger thing here. It's a pretty good size. And there he goes at this. He's got his black diamond. He has his legs over here. And draw some little lines of action there. And a little ouchy spot. Okay, and there's some sand here. Back of the well, because it's a good sized scorpion. Those dark Bermuda scorpions. Okay. And I'll just draw a line of action here, or an arrow, showing that it kind of moved in a bit. Okay. There's that. All right, and then there is getting stung by the scorpion. Now he says youch. So we're gonna move back to one of these close-up shots like this. Okay, starting different places for this. Should probably be more consistent. And I'll make this mouth. Youch. All right. Okay. His nose is way far away from his mouth now. Okay. Nobody said that this was a class on drawing. Okay. Okay, jaw's gonna be down. Okay, he's got his ears. There's this right here. Okay. Show his tongue. Some stuff behind him. Okay, now he grabs his shin and collapses to the ground. Okay, so this is going to be back to a medium shot. Okay, so he is then going to he's going to bend over, grabs his shin, and then basically falls over. Okay, how am I going to draw him bending over and then just collapsing to the ground? Okay. Okay. Let's get his arm down, grabbing his leg. got bit by a scorpion, a black gem scorpion. Okay, there's this. He's bent over. How do I draw a sailor bending over, a sailor spy? Okay, this may or may not be anatomically correct. Okay, but he is bending over and he says, ouch. Okay, and then Mr. Scorpion is just like, he's like, F-A-F-O, man. I am a scorpion and I am going to bite you. Okay. There's that, and he's got his little stinger out here. There he is right there. A drawing a second grader would be proud of. Okay. I don't know. Is that his shoe? Okay. He's bent over. Well, showing him bent over here. And then collapses. He bends over, he collapses. The least I can do is spell collapse right. Okay, C-O-L-L-A-P-S-E. There you go. Collapses. Okay. Now, he says, drat, what a dreadful way to perish. Okay, so that's all going to be one that's going to just be basically a close-up of him lying on his back. He's still got his hat on. As a good sailor spy, he's going to die with his hat on. All right, I guess this is going to be kind of like a side shot. Okay, so he's just going to be like, oh, alas, woe is me. Okay, he's got his hat on. He's got his wig. He's lying on the ground. This is his ear. He's got a neck. Okay. He's got a chin. He's got a neck. All right, and he says drat. And then he closes his eyes. So then the classic X for eyes. And there's that. Oh, let me put this back on. There we go. All right, there you go. The classic X for eyes. Okay, mouth is closed. There's the neck. There's that. And then the scorpion continues to circle the whale bottom. Actually, I'm going to do something. We'll make it a little silly. All right. So the scorpion does a little victory dance. Performs a little victory dance. Okay. All right. So back to here. There we go. Okay. All right. All right, I gotta take care of some laundry here for my son. Okay, there's that. Now, a little scorpion victory dance. Okay, so somebody just showed up. Hi, how are you? Good evening. We are working on some storyboards for a stop motion series that may or may not happen, called Escape from Crab Island, and it involves the sailor spy Lieutenant Lee McQueen. And if you're familiar with Mork Borg or Pirate Borg, the characters die a lot. So in this instance, Sailor Spy McQueen, Lieutenant McQueen, he has gotten stung by a black gem scorpion, one of the most deadliest scorpions in the Dark Caribbean. Okay, so now we are to the point where the scorpion performs a little victory dance. And victory is spelled with a C. There we go. Come back to here. Here we go. And then, okay, so a scorpion performing a victory dance. I guess he'll move his tail, maybe he'll move back and forth a little bit with his little legs and his black gem body, which is all sparkly, and his segmented tail with the little coffee bean poker, and that will I guess I'll draw the arrow going behind. Like this, kind of like that. There you go. His little tail's moving back and forth, and then he can move kind of back and forth like that, doing his little victory dance. All right. Victory. He stung a human and killed him. Can add a notch to his black gems. All right. So then the final card says McQueen has died. Return to episode 2. Okay. So, and I am probably going to work with my friend Matt Davis, friend from high school, and he has a printing press, and I think I'm going to buy a typeset, and I think we're going to print these cards, which will be really fun to actually have actual printed cards. Okay, McQueen has died. I can hear him up there chopping up the ice. All right. She went and bought some ice tonight. Okay, McQueen has died. Return to episode 2. Okay. There we go. Okay, now, like every good elementary school kid, we are going to color these in with my 12 colored pencils. Okay, so arbitrarily, art is arbitrary, we will start with the sand. Okay, so there's some yellow. And again, this is for animatics. If you're not familiar with animatics, basically they can be rudimentary animations. My elementary school friend Jerry Kung, he works with Weta in New Zealand. He's done fancy animatics as an artist down there in New Zealand. But this is a very low budget. This is just proof of concept for this idea of the kind of choose your own adventure, choose your own path story told by way of YouTube shorts, which I have not seen before, so we'll see if it makes sense to try this. Kind of depending on the feedback and depending on these other projects that I got going on. Got the Tuberville 1815 Napoleonic potatoes. Got some artists overseas working on puppets. Andy Green and Ryan and Florian. Then we got the Trenchfoot World War II or World War I Trench Crusade themed project. The sets are half done for that. We still need to record some dialogue, I think, for that. And So, and then what's the other one? Dungeon diving. There's like 5 or 6 episodes of dungeon diving that need to get finished as well. And so there's a lot going on, but we'll see how things go. The shiny black gem of that. There we go. We're kind of filling in things. What color is a scorpion? Maybe make him orange. All right. He's got his black gem here. He's got his black shoes. His black shoes. His black shoes. His hat is black. His tri-corner hat. I already did him. All right. Arbitrarily, I've made my arrows blue. Again, I'm just coloring this in because it's something fun to do. Instead of the animatic being black and white, the animatic can be in color. Okay, so I guess we'll make him orange. He'll be kind of an orange. Just to make him a color. Okay, I just made the black gem orange. Okay. All right, who's running this show? And here he is, so he's orange and black. Kind of like Halloween colors. All right, and we'll put a little brown in for these blocks. Okay, here we go. Artwork an elementary school child would be proud of, or maybe embarrassed of. I don't know. We're just here having a good time. Jack of all trades, master of none. And that's kind of the nature of stop motion that I really enjoy because I am a jack of all trades. So I have learned a lot of different things in my stop motion adventure the last 2 years. All right, so there's that right there. So that's the animatic for that. I need to make his pupils a little bit bigger here. There we go. Okay, there's that one. And then we're back to kind of coloring right here. Okay. All right, so there's that. His hat is black. His hat is black. His hat is black. His shoes are black. His hat is black. There we go. This gem is black on Mr. Scorpion, who's doing some dancing. Dancing Scorpion. Mr. Scorpion was orange, I think, just arbitrarily. Okay, and there's that. Looking up here on the screen. Okay, so I got television on the wall where I can kind of monitor the camera feeds. There you go, it's kind of black and orange. Okay. And then his coat was blue. And what else was he? He's got... There's preview. Where's preview? Where's the preview picture? There it is. Okay. So there's McQueen right there. He's got a little yellow on the hat. I don't need to add any yellow on the hat. What am I doing here? That's fine. Okay. There's McQueen right there. And just make these arrows blue. Okay, here we go. He's gonna kind of bend over and then collapse. He's gonna do his victory dance. That'll be fun to animate. Okay. And then his cheeks are always kind of red. Is this red? No, that's not red. Okay. Okay, I'll put a little bit of red in his lips. This is not art. This is storyboards. Okay. There's that. And maybe we'll put a little sand for Mr. Scorpion for doing his victory dance. He's lying on the sand. There's some sand there. Alright. There's some sand there. Some sand there. Some brown there. Okay. And I've sketched out on my last plane ride to Minnesota for work. I sketched out, I think, 18 episodes. I've written 6 of them up so far. So as I write the episode like in threes, I'll work on storyboards. Tomorrow night will probably be, I'll shoot 2 of the Beardy episodes, and then one night this week I'll get back on Sir Ratone so I can print that puppet out maybe this weekend. I like to, the puppets come in pairs, so there's like Drek and Sinew, Henneth and Krenneth, and then Sir Ratone and Granat. I printed out Granat. You can see pictures of him, I think, on the YouTube posts. I think there's a picture of him. He's voiced by Sky Cross, friend from the Renaissance Festival. And Sir Ratone was voiced by Christina Diaz. That was almost a year ago. Sinew is Curtis Boddicker. Drek is Jason Elliott Tonis, close friend. And I finished the castle for that month and a half ago, and I got some gels from Roscoe from B&H Video. So I got like 6 or 7 different gels to try some diffuse lighting to see kind of play with the lighting on the castle. So I'll probably do that. Might do that early next week. I have a house I need to finish remodeling as well. All right, I think that we caught most of the key colors there. So that's episode 5. All right, so just to summarize, so in this episode, basically he dies. He gets bitten by the scorpion. So first panel, establishing shot. Then he sees the gem. He's like, oh, shiny. Bends over to pick it up. Oh, a scorpion comes out of the ground. It's a dangerous black gem scorpion. Just something I made up. Biscuits. What in the world is he going to do? Eyebrows go up. Scorpion kind of circles. Both of them circle. What a pickle, he says. Then Scorpion comes on in. Stabs him in the shin over his sock. Youch, he says. Collapses onto the ground. Drat, what a way to die. What a way to perish. Eyes close. Scorpion does a silly victory dance. And then McQueen has died. Return to episode 2. All right, there's that one. And the other one we did tonight. What happened in the other one we did tonight? That was 5, right? 4. Oh, 4. He makes the wall. All right, so 4. These are ones I already did yesterday, and then shot and put on the unlisted. All right, there's that. All right, so this is the one we did earlier today. Turn it this way. Okay, so this is the one, episode 4, where he finds the block brick that's loose. He pulls him out. This might be a way out. Starts making a hole in the wall. Makes a nice little pyramid because he's a little OCD. And there we go, right there. He says, well, perhaps this is a way out. And then he exits out. So he survived that one. All right, now, so, and then in that same, kind of that same tier, I guess you'd call it. I think what I should do is make a little artwork showing the flow chart since I'm an engineer, I like to do these things too. So this is the one where he tries to climb out with a ladder, with a rope, sorry. All right, so pulls on the rope, seems sturdy, starts climbing up the rope. It's like, hey, this is working. Then we see that the rope is pulling a bucket on the top of the well. There's a little crab there for some humor. And, oh, I'm making some progress. Then we see that the bucket starts swinging back and forth and starts getting pulled and basically comes unhinged from the beam. Which leads to the action of him falling. Biscuits, his catchphrase. He falls down. We don't know how far he fell, but he fell down enough. He hit his head on the rock because this is Pirate Borg, so many ways to die. And for humor, he gets hit on the head by the bucket, and Mr. Crab walks out. Maybe Mr. Crab will do a victory dance too. Everybody likes to do a victory dance around here. Victory. Okay, the island wants to kill McQueen, basically. It's a cursed island. Crab Island is cursed. Okay, so what I need is I need some quadrille paper. Where's my quadrille paper? Hold on for a second while I look for quadrille paper. All right, here's some quadrille in this old notebook. Well, there's Grog, one of McQueen's zombie buddies. All right, there he is. Okay. Oh, here's some quadrille. Okay, so just kind of trace this out. I think, where's my book? Okay. Or did I write it on the back of? Actually, let me look. I think I have some notes here. Oh, actually, I think it's on the back of one of these storyboards. Oh, it is. Okay. All right, that's the whole thing sketched out there. All right, so we can make it a little bit more. Make it a little bit more formal. Okay, so actually, let's do this. All right, so Crab Island flowchart. Okay, so we're going to start with episode 1, which is basically the establishing shot. And then that's going to go to episode 2. And episode 2 is basically a fork. All right, so the fork then. All right, so that is basically bottom of the well. Yeah, well bottom. Okay. All right, so there's three forks here, 3 paths. So he can climb the rope. All right, so we'll go 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we'll head over here, and then this one will head over here. Okay. And okay, there's that. Do like me a good flowchart as an engineer. Okay. Okay, and there's this one here in the middle. All right, so this is episode 3, episode 4, and episode 5. Okay, so this is back to 2, and then this is back to 2, and this is climbs rope.
Okay. This is inspects the block. And then this is picks up the gem. Okay, so that's kind of the flow chart that we've done so far the last 2 nights. All right, we can make like little skulls. There we go. It's a tiny little skull. He died. Okay, here we go. Tiny little skull. All right, he died. Okay, so he's going to go back to 2. Okay, and then after inspecting the block, we're going to go to episode 6. And that is walking down the corridor. Okay, and then he's skeletons. Okay, so this is where he goes to the alcove then. And then there's 2 branches here. He either takes the key, which is the main timeline, or he climbs the ladder and dies. Okay, I haven't written those ones yet. They're just sketched out. Okay, so we're going to call this alcove because it's basically another node, I guess, really, is what we'll call it. So these are nodes. So nodes branch out to forks, right? And usually he's going to die in these. He's going to die in these and have to come back to here. All right. So we'll call that a node. And so episode 6, that's another node that can branch. And it's going to branch to either 2 possible ways. It's going to branch to 8. This is like 100% engineering talk here. All right, so it's going to branch to 8. So this is episode 8. I think that's where he climbs the ladder and he dies. Again, it's like 1490 Doom, everybody falling and dying. Okay, climbs ladder. And then he's going to die. Make my little skull here. Boop. Okay, and then, but he's not going to go back to 2, he's just going to go back to 6. Okay. And then episode 7, I'll just have it come over here. Episode 7 is where he takes the rusty key. Every adventure has to have a rusty key. All right, so he takes key. Okay, so I wrote 6 last night, so we can work on 6. Okay, but that shows you kind of the flow chart of, here we go, what we got so far. So we got episode 1, 2, and 3 the other yesterday night, and we did 4 and 5 so far, and we'll do 6 tonight, and then we'll call it a night because I still need to write 7 and 8. Okay, so let's pull that up. All right, let's get rid of him. Come back over here. Window, episode 6, which is really the alcove. All right, so I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Is that big enough? There we go, right there. Okay. So we've got this lava corridor, and we'll work on it for 20 minutes or so. 2 hours of streaming is probably enough. We might not finish 6, but we'll get started on it. Okay. Okay, so there's this. So tomorrow morning, I'll get up and we'll scan 4 and 5. There's 4. Okay. There we go. Okay, now let's get a storyboard from Superstar Worksheets, which I randomly found on the internet. Okay. All right, and if you are not familiar with Pirate Borg, this is what Pirate Borg looks like here. There we go. Oh, I need to go back here. Sorry. Okay, there we go. I'll show right down here. There we go. So it's the book by Luke Stratton with help from his brother Tyler. Very, very talented folks. He goes by the name Limithron, and it's compatible with Morkborg. And if you're into pirates and you're into RPGs, I can't recommend this highly enough. It's just very inspirational. He did such a great job on it. All right, so we've got, he has worked his way out of the well. Yay, McQueen. Okay, so this will be 6A. We'll do a couple of panels and then we'll call it a night. Okay, and then I need to get a cup to hold these things. Where did that box go? There it is, with my colored pencils. We're not going to get the pencils on this one, but... Okay. So, McQueen slowly moves down a lava corridor covered with vines and roots. Okay, so this can be a medium shot, and he'll be walking, and we'll just kind of be kind of cave-like. It's lava corridor, so it's going to have that kind of squiggly lava look to it, and then he's going to be walking. Okay, he's got his coat. Should pull up that drawing of him. Alright, where's that drawing? Okay, here's that. Here's a picture of him that I'm sketching there. Okay. And here he is. He's got his coat. And he's kind of looking around. He's got his hat. Okay, he's a square-jawed guy like Steve McQueen. He's got his hair. Okay, he's looking around. He's got his eyebrows. Okay, and he's got this corridor here. And he's got his little pants here. And there we go. He's walking. I'm walking here, to quote Rizzo. Okay, Dustin Hoffman, Midnight Cowboy. Okay, there's there. He's got, there we go. He's got his fingers. Okay, he's slowly walking down this corridor. I mean, we can show a little bit, maybe far away, the back of the well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, time has elapsed, so we don't need to bother showing that. Okay, it's just got little lava. It's walking down a corridor. Okay, and he's got an arrow showing him that he's walking. I was like, when the storyboard artists break the plane of the storyboard, I always think that's clever. There we go. I break the plane of the storyboard. Okay. Now, it's covered with vines and roots. Okay, so there's some vines and some roots. It's a very rustic corridor. All right, now a lighted alcove appears at the end of the corridor. So if he's walking in this direction, that means the camera needs to kind of show him like this. We'll do an over-the-shoulder shot. There's that. Okay. And we'll probably finish with this one here. And it says, okay, so yeah, this interior lava corridor. A lighted alcove appears at the end of the corridor. Okay, so just kind of like that. There's a ceiling. And maybe there's... Okay. He's walking this way. And there's some vines. Okay. I'll just write alcove. Okay. That is pretty rough. And he's walking. Okay. I think that's enough for tonight. It's almost 2 hours. Well, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. We had 5 viewers. That's pretty good. All right. Have a good night. And we'll do some more tomorrow. We'll probably do some Beardy tomorrow.
Hey, Scully. Yar, Stinkosaurus.
Oh, Rick!
Arty, ar, ar, ar.